Now, not every CubCrafters aircraft is a Carbon Cub, but every Carbon Cub is a CubCrafters aircraft. Well, we're going to begin our journey here in the composite factory with Robert Detloff, who's the Director of Manufacturing, and we're going to get a real good sense of why the name Carbon Cub has stuck to this brand for so long. But before we get into the manufacturing and stuff in this facility, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about where the word Carbon Cub came from, because I know, like we said, not every single CubCrafters aircraft is a Carbon Cub. So what was the evolution of how that came about?
Yeah, glad you could be here with us. So CubCrafters started building spare and surplus PA-18s. That transitioned to eventually designing their own aircraft. That necessitated some fiberglass composite components. And then eventually, carbon fiber started to be one of the leading products for strength and reduced weight in aviation. And once we transitioned out of our first production model, we went into our Carbon Cub, and we started optimizing as much as we could in the aircraft with carbon fiber products.
PA-18, and then we went into, was it the SS at that point?
The Sport Cub was the first production model that CubCrafters made.
At what point did you call them a Carbon Cub?
2011, 2012 is when the Carbon Cub first came out. And that was when we didn't retire the Sport Cub, but that was the 180 horsepower, much bigger, much more of a high-performance backcountry aircraft instead of a snortier version of a Cub.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then as the brand evolved and the product line evolved, and then now we get into the XCub, the FX3s, and technically the XCub is not considered a Carbon Cub, but Carbon Cub has created such an incredible name in the industry that it kind of stuck, like the word Kleenex or shipped at UPS. Everybody considers that type of plane a Carbon Cub.